Imagine a virus that killed more people in 2 years than World War I itself. A pandemic that infected a third of humanity. This wasn't COVID, it was the Spanish flu of 1918. The Spanish flu remains one of the deadliest pandemics in human history, claiming an estimated 50 million lives worldwide. But what was it really? Where did it begin? And how did it spread so quickly in a world without modern air travel? Let's uncover the shocking origins of the pandemic that reshaped how we fight influenza today. Despite its name, the Spanish flu did not start in Spain. Many historians point to Camp Funston, Kansas in March 1918, where the first recorded cases appeared among U.S. soldiers. At the time, World War I was raging, and massive troop movements became the perfect vehicle for the virus to hitch a ride across the globe. Spain only got the name attached because, unlike other countries at war, it had a free press. While Britain, France, and the U.S. censored bad news to maintain morale, Spanish newspapers reported openly about the mysterious illness sweeping through communities. Thus, the world came to know it as the Spanish flu. Scientifically, the pandemic was caused by an H1N1 Influenza A virus. Unlike Influenza B, which causes recurring seasonal flu outbreaks, Influenza A can trigger pandemics. It mutates rapidly, jumps across species, and when unleashed, becomes devastating. In 1918, the virus struck fast, and it was unusual. Instead of only targeting the very young and elderly, it killed healthy young adults, often within days. Soldiers, factory workers, and teachers collapsed with terrifying speed. By the summer of 1918, the flu had spread far beyond America's borders. Troop ships carried it to Europe, where crowded trenches and military hospitals turned into hotbeds of infection. From there, it moved into Asia, Africa, and South America, infecting villages and cities alike. By the end of 1918, nearly 500 million people, 1/3 of the world's population, had been infected. Imagine that. Every third person you passed on the street carrying the virus. Hospitals were overwhelmed. Makeshift wards filled gymnasiums, churches, and schools. Nurses and doctors worked around the clock, often falling ill themselves. With no antibiotics to fight secondary infections like pneumonia, survival rates were grim. Communities imposed quarantines, mandated masks, and even closed schools, theaters, and businesses. In cities like San Francisco, refusing to wear a mask could earn you a fine. The numbers are staggering. Up to 50 million deaths worldwide, with some estimates reaching 100 million. To put it in perspective, that's more than the combined deaths of both world wars. But out of tragedy came transformation. Public health systems were strengthened. Nations began investing in epidemiology, disease tracking, and virology research. The 1918 pandemic also laid the groundwork for the development of vaccines against influenza decades later. Today, influenza viruses, both A and B, still circulate, causing seasonal outbreaks. But thanks to the lessons of 1918, we now monitor emerging strains closely and update flu vaccines annually to keep pace with the virus's mutations. The Spanish flu was a global tragedy, but it forced humanity to confront just how vulnerable we are to invisible enemies, and how science, cooperation, and vigilance can change the course of history. The pandemic deadlier than COVID, it wasn't recent, it was 1918. If you enjoyed uncovering the origins of the Spanish flu and its link to influenza today, make sure to subscribe to Origin Byte for more stories of how our world came to be. History isn't just in the past, it shapes the way we live today.